Dior, and this is Labyrinth of Touhou. I'm currently uploading the few of the random runs of Dungeons & Dreadmore, and I figured I'd go ahead and knock out some boss fights before I call it a night. So, something to point out, if you look, you'll notice I have a lot more time on my save, as well as on my higher level, and more battles. I went ahead and did some off-screen grinding. I already mentioned that you don't really need to grind too much in this game, but I went ahead and did it anyway, just so I can, you know, get through dungeons a little bit quicker, just for you guys mainly. Also, I was looking up some of the bosses I'm going to be fighting on the first floor. Chen requires about level 6 or 7 for your party. And that's based off of Reimu's level, and we were about level 4, so I was like, oh, might as well level anyway. So, there you go. Sorry. Let's, just some things to show off. While I was grinding, generally what you do for grinding is you constantly shuffle out your characters to try to get their SP back up, and try to, you know, conserve your stamina points as much as possible so you can limit your trips. So it was a bit slow because I only have 5 characters and not 12 to cycle in and out, and also I didn't explore any new areas with it when I was grinding, which means I was stuck at the first floor fighting the same enemies over and over again. So it started slowing down quite a bit. I'm right now floating around level 8 and 9 with my characters. I have a bunch of skill points saved up. At least, well, not a bunch, but a decent amount. But I'm not spending any of it yet. But also, I was getting a lot of drops. As you can see, I have Remelia equipped with 3 power belts, which is 10% attack. I did the same thing for Sakia. I went ahead and gave Reimu a power belt, as well as some of the plus 10 HP items. I did confirm it. Reimu's spells actually have a lot of bonus from attack and magic, but enemies will still get full of defense against their attack. So as we get higher in the dungeons, our attack spells are going to get less useful. But she's more of a healer buffer anyway. Here's some new items. The Fragment of Soul I mentioned before I, you know, got my party killed fighting the Bloodseal boss. Also, the required level for the first Bloodseal boss, which is that butterfly that slaughtered us, is 110. So it's going to be a while before we're ready to fight it. And also, that's 110 with, you know, a full party. So we got this. It does 4% recovery. I went ahead and just started stacking these just so Marissa can recover SP faster. Also found these Harami lemons, which does a 4% recovery, along with plus 48 nature affinity. So as you can see over here, I'll show it with the mouse. It increases that status, not stat, but elemental defense. Anything else I got? No. A bunch more Harami lemons. Oh, actually, there is one other item. I don't have it equipped. There's the Straw Ring of Prayer. This does more nature resist, just like the lemon, but it also does plus 8% mind, which is actually pretty reasonable for an early game item. And I found a lot of these the little flower guys that we fought that were just, you know, nothing but plant. They just looked like flowers, and that was it. Those things dropped that. The red demons dropped the power belts. I don't remember what dropped the flying squirrels, and I cannot remember what dropped the lemons. But the lemon was pretty much the rarest thing. I only found 2 after all my grinding. But that's about it. Alright, so we got everyone set up. As I mentioned, Chen is probably the tougher of the 2 bosses you'll fight in the beginning. Not counting the Bloodseal boss, of course. She's a little bit higher level. Well, she doesn't have she has about the same amount of hit points, but she hits a lot harder and a lot faster. So we'll go ahead and fight her first anyway. For a couple of reasons, which I'll point out later when we fight the second boss. That's right, we're going to fight 2 bosses, hopefully. So, let's get our party set up. We're looking... I think this is... Well, actually, yeah, that'll work. Okay. What we're going to do is... go ahead and explore Strange Place. Enter dungeon. As you recall, the Chen's right down here. The path for the other boss is actually through here, but there's another way to get there, and I'll point that out later. Because I'm going to kind of just rush for the other boss, just so I don't, take up too much time, and I can get this done reasonably. The 30... Okay, one thing I do have to change. As you can see, Vermilion can hit a lot harder now. I'm going to go ahead and use misdirection. Sorry, I need to do a correction. I forgot to change the music. Sorry, I preferred the other music, so might as well. No huge loss. Also, it didn't take too long to grind in this game, mainly because if you hit the M key, it makes your next step an instant encounter. So, all I did was find a spot that, apparently, like, around here, the mobs are weaker and don't provide as much XP, so I kind of moved, here, I'll show it on the map. I pretty much moved right over here, and then I just started hitting the M key after every fight, and just taking one step and entering combat, and just paste in place. So it doesn't take too long, and that's what I usually do when I grind in other places. There we go, much better music. Oh yeah, that's right. I could run away, but that's just going to use up TP, so I'll go to misdirection. She's actually strong enough to actually kill things with misdirection now. Of course, that won't last long. Alright, as I mentioned, that path right there will lead to another boss, but there's also a secret boss, and it involves not taking that event. So, okay, here's Chen. Of course, we hit a monster right then and there. Go figure. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and let her handle it. Yeah, that's fine. I was just checking how much SP it takes to do her buffs, and unfortunately, the only buff she can cast is the world, and that's herself only. So there you go. Here's Chen again. We pretty much said we finally found you, but Chen said that was going to be her line. Apparently she has some sort of plan. Sorry, just making sure my mouse is not on the screen. Patchy just noticed that this place is filled with spiritual energy, which will strengthen this Shikigami's powers, as she just said. And there we go, the boss fight begins. As you just noticed, she attacked immediately and then followed it with another attack. She uses pretty much the spell she'll have as a character, hint hint. Her first attack was a single target that does a decent amount of damage, but the main thing is it reduces the action bar to about 80 or 90%, which means she practically gets another turn right after. Her second attack is not as quick, but it's still reasonably fast for an AoE. It's a row attack AoE, so it did a lot of damage. It did more damage to the front row, and then less damage to every person beyond that. So there you go. So let's go ahead and get this started. I'm gonna go ahead and do Spirit Gun here, because this spell will kill me. How much damage do I do? About 868. This battle won't last long. You can actually probably fight her a lot sooner than I am right now. And if you're doing New Game Plus, you can definitely, you can kill this, it's possible to kill Chen in one hit at level 1, depending on what character you use, because the beginning level bosses don't have death resistance, so they can be instant killed. But you don't get an instant death until later in the game if you don't have New Game Plus, so there you go. We're gonna go ahead and stick with single target spells. Okay, that didn't do much. And just to show off some of the spells, this is her healing spell, and this is her defense spell. So here we go, everyone gets plus mine in defense. She just used her... Ow. Thankfully we buffed. Her other thing she did was it boosted her attack power. And it also has a very low cooldown, so it immediately gave her a chance to attack with that boosted attack. Alright, let's go ahead and swap out. We're going to go ahead and get her out here. We'll go ahead and nuke you again. You'll focus. Ouch. Ouch. Also, the thing about Chen is she's very weak against cold. There we go. And there you go. Not very much skill points and XP, but it's more than what we've been getting in our encounters. And there is chances for bosses to drop a certain item. For Chen, it's a ball of lightning, which I believe is plus 20 attack, or plus 20% attack. I'm not going to worry about grinding for it, because it's just not an item you really need right now. So we'll get that, and bam, there you go. We win. Now we're interrogating her. Sorry, I'm having trouble pronouncing things again. But Chen doesn't know anything. Rand said she'll look for Yukari and told Chen to stay home, which she didn't do. Because she likes helping out Rand. Now they don't know what to do with her. But they believe if they, take Chen along, Rand will eventually have to show up. And Chen agrees, if this means she'll find Lady Rand faster, it's all good. Too bad they couldn't decide this without a fight. So there you go, Chen joins the party. The thing about when they join your parties, they'll go straight to Gensokyo first. So let's go ahead and head back. So here's our first new party member. We'll go ahead and pull her up. And here it is. They do start at level 1, but they do have they'll start with a number of experience based off what your level is. So we can go ahead and spin that in a bit. But let's go ahead and show off her. Right now there's not much to see. Her status resistance are abysmal. Her elemental resist are average at best, except for cold, which she's weak against. So she pretty much takes double damage from cold. If you have 100 in an elemental resist, it means you take 100% of the damage. If you have about 50, you take double, about 200% damage. And it kind of scales up kind of like that. If you have 200, it'll reduce it by 50% and so forth. Later on in the game, in certain fights and later on in the game, it's definitely important that your tanks need to have high elemental resist. But for now, that's about all we need to know. Anyway, she has 4 attacks. The first one was that single target that was mentioned before. It says it has 0 accuracy, but accuracy just is not important in this game. It's single target, non-elemental. It's based off her attack, so it's a physical attack. It uses very little SP, and its power is normal, but it's very fast. So it's a good. It's very, once you get Chen up there, it's your primary attack, of course. Phoenix Spread Wings is a stronger attack, and it's row based. But it's still not that powerful compared to other like row-based spells and stuff. But it's still rather fast, and the SP cost is very cheap. Maybe about double of. As you can see, it's only 24 for a row attack, which is actually really good. And her single target's 18. Soaring Guardian God. This is her self buff that doubles her evasion, but it's completely useless because evasion doesn't do anything. And then her other spell, which you saw her use, was a Kumantanku, which is it's also a self buff. It doubles her attack power but has her defense in mind. But since Chen has already very horrible defenses, it doesn't really matter too much. And it's also very fast, but it's also her most expensive spell. So using it effectively can be a little bit troublesome, because you would have to use this and then pop these a bunch of times. And that's generally how Chen works. Chen's stats aren't really that great, but she levels fast. She also has the best, arguably the best speed in the game. Like, her speed growth is better than everyone except maybe one character. But even then, because of her leveling rate, it still makes her the best. For various tiers for various roles, for physical attackers, Chen is in her own league, most people say, or at least top tier. All you have to do is stack attack power, get her a bunch of speed, and then, buff herself, shred, and then pull her out before she gets hit. And that's all you have to worry about. Don't let her get hit, and you'll just shred bosses. This character is really good for shredding bosses, and can be very good for clearing later on. She's actually in my party in the save that I beat the game with. She's very, very strong. I don't know if I'll use her in this playthrough. I'll definitely use her right now, but once I get more than 12 people, I might consider dropping her just to, get some variety in. But until then, I'll make use of her. So there you go. And to make use of her, of course, I'm going to go ahead and switch this stuff out. You can equip that. Sorry, getting mixed up. There we go, power belts. And that's fine. We can go ahead and just equip the flying spells for now. So let's go ahead and level her up. Oh, I can level up Marissa. That's magic. See, as you can see, she starts out with X speed spin, so we'll go ahead and do that. And just buff up her attack. There you go. Now she's level 10. Mainly because she levels up faster than all of these characters. But she's at least, sorry. Let's look at her stats again now. She now has 104 speed, so she's actually faster than everyone in the party. Attack-wise, she's not doing too great, but she also doesn't really have very many attack items on her. You do kind of have to build up her stats, putting a bunch of skill points into her attack stat, but once you do that, she becomes very, very useful. But I'm gonna go ahead and save the game. So there you go. That's taken care of. Now let's go ahead and explore strange places. Enter dungeon. Now, our goal is to get around to showing with the mouse, around here. Actually, it's probably about down here. So, let's go ahead and make our way there. Just making sure my party's alright. Yeah, it seems to be okay. The other boss is actually, the required level is about 4 or 5, so this will be a lot easier. I mean, the last fight was pretty easy, but we were actually a little over-leveled. Yeah, my characters are strong enough to melee most of these. At least Sakuya and Ramelia are. So the way you usually go is go through here, but I'm not going to do that. What we need to do is go down here and get into an encounter. Alright, attack. Misdirection. Good. It's good enough to kill them. Those might be the ones that actually drop the limits, but I'm not entirely sure. So you go down this way. Attack that. We'll just use Sakuya to clear things. Okay. Nope, not here. It's up here. I think. Yeah, it's right here. Okay, I found it. I was doubting myself. Go ahead and just use her attack. the Chen fight was a little bit tougher, though, simply because we didn't have, this other character we're about to get, who's the best tank in the game. So that's why Romelia was taking a beating. Because right now we have no designated tank. Just Romelia just happens to have the best defense stats. So let's go ahead and, now we'll go ahead and step first. As you can see, there's an event here. You also notice that this section of wall here looks a little different. This is a one-way wall, which means you can step through it, but you can't step back. So let's go ahead and step here. And you're hearing some, what sounds like crying. Now they say the crying sound again. That's referring to the event we just skipped over. The event that we skipped over is crying. You'll hear crying or whatever. I'll show it after this fight, or maybe after this fight. Apparently, Romelia and Sakia know who this person is. They're referring to her as probably as a worker that's been apparently avoiding her work. And they want to punish her. So let's head on up. Unfortunately, Saki has to be out of SP at this point, but that's alright. Slowly. There, boss fight. Alright, let's go ahead and swap out some people. We'll go ahead and swap you out, you in, and, boy, not very many choices at the moment. And I'm getting all mixed up. There we go. We'll do it like that. Alright, let's go ahead and move in. Hearing that crying again, and apparently she believes everyone's dead. And there you go, there's Meiling. And she believes Sakio is a ghost. And now she thinks she's seeing Romelia's ghost. And now she's attacking us because she thinks we're ghost. And so the fight begins. Technically this will be your first boss fight. She has the same amount of hit points as Chen, but she's slower, has 2 attacks that are both single target and not that strong, and she has a self-heal spell that she only uses once. So with that taken care of, let's go ahead and self-buff ourselves. Attack up, mine down. Do Q. Just to tell you the hit points, Chen and Meiling have 4,000 hit points as bosses. So, there you go. Now you know. And we'll just do Magic Missile. Does okay damage. Alright, it's our turn already. We have, as you can probably see to the left, I have 80% bonus attack power now. And now I do just as much damage as they do. So there you go. And we'll do Silence Fleet. That does 1200. So we've pumped it in about over half our hit points already. Of course now our attack's a bit weaker now, but it's still good. Do it one more time. And we killed her before she can heal herself. Alright, pretty much same amount of skill points and XP. She does have a drop that's a bit rare. I might actually grind for it because it's not like a very super good item, but it's one that's relatively useful, and it's you only find 2 in the entire game. So I'm gonna probably take advantage of that. So that's all I really wanted to show off. I wanted to show off the fight. I'll go ahead and show off the dialogue after this. So Romelia is questioning how we could have possibly died, because hence, you know, she thought we were a ghost, or they were ghosts. Sorry. And she obviously noticed that the vortex came and, you know, trashed everything. Meiling is the guard, the gatekeeper of the Scarlet Devil Mansion. So her job is usually just to stand in front of the gate and, you know, keep people from going through it. Fortunately, she is also very lazy and tends to go to sleep a lot. She also is not very good at Danmaku, which is the bullet hell type thing, fighting that Gensokyo does, and because she's a martial artist and not really one that's skilled in range combat. So she tends to be picked on a lot, and not very good at holding off stronger people. Also, Meiling tends to be the, she tends to be very treated very poorly in all the fan games and all the games in general. She tends to be the butt of all jokes. I mean, in Touhou Soccer 2, she's like one of the worst goalies, and she's practically made fun of throughout the entire story. So they're like, okay, you abandoned your post, blah blah blah. And since the Scarlet Devil Mansion is half destroyed, they don't really need a gatekeeper. So we're gonna take her along as a shield. Sorry, my headset's bothering me. Of course, she's not going to complain, because, I mean, Vermilia's her mistress, too. So there you go, Meiling has joined the party. I'll go ahead and show off, well, back to Gensokyo. And let's go ahead and pick her up real quick, just so I can show it off. Now, as I mentioned, before, Meiling is the best tank in the game, hands down. There's some decent tanks. Well, correction, there's not very many decent tanks in this game. There's maybe 4 characters you can maybe make into a full-fledged tank without any worries. One is Meiling, and then the other ones kind of have their own unique styles. Or the other 3 kind of have their own unique styles. But Meiling has the best setup. Her stats are generally good. Especially, she has a good balance of hit points and defensive stats, along with a decent attack. And the only thing she's really poor in is maybe magic and maybe speed. Compared to Vermilia, who was our tank, Vermilia actually has better stats, like physical stats. But Meiling tends to have better HP. But the main thing is she has 4 abilities. 2 of them are, one's Brilliant Light Gem, which I've never used. It's a spirit-based attack. It uses both attack and magic, but it's not really that good. I've never actually used it on an enemy. I usually use Mountain Breaker, which is a non-element spell, and it uses, it's a physical attack. I believe it still uses magic as well, but it focuses more on defense. And it always does more damage than Brilliant Light Gem in almost all cases. I've never seen it not do more damage than Brilliant Light Gem, so I never use it. So that's her primary attack. It's single target along with this one. Now, the thing that makes her the best tank is she can heal. Colorful Rain is her most expensive ability, and it's a self-target recovery spell, and it's probably one of the most powerful heals in the game, but it's, of course, can only be used on herself. But that makes her a tank that can heal herself. So she's very self-sufficient. The other thing that makes her great is she's practically a paladin. Her healer spell is a lot cheaper, but not as powerful. It's rather weak. Maybe the second weakest heal in the game. I mean, unless you just buff your attack and magic a lot, which affects the strength of the heals. But the main thing it does is it removes poison, paralysis, and silence. The primary status effects. So right now, this is the only character we have in the game that can remove status effects. And she, as long as she doesn't get silenced or paralyzed, nor killed, of course, she can just constantly remove debuffs on people, which is rather useful. So it's very useful in boss fights. Because what you do with Meiling is you don't attack with her in boss fights. You just constantly heal, remove status effects, and swap people in and out on her turn. So that's why she's generally the best tank in the game. In fact, most playthroughs that are already online usually have her as the main tank. I've always seen one Let's player that uses someone other than Meiling as a primary tank. So there you go. Now, I'm not going to save. I'm going to go ahead and call it quits though. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reload from where I was, and I'm going to keep trying to get the item that she drops to see if I can show it off. Because honestly, I don't remember what it is. Well, I know what I know what it's called, but I don't remember what it does. So I'm hoping to show that off, and then probably the next time I play this game, I will kind of show off the hidden thing. But we're not strong enough to fight it yet, though. I think we need to be at least level 14 to fight the secret boss. But other than that, there we go. We have 2 more party members. We're up to 7 now. We have a designated tank now, so Meiling can be moved up someplace else. But and we also have another physical attacker, so we're doing pretty good. But I'm Mr. Presty, and this is Labyrinth of Touhou. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Good night, everyone.